Shay! I'm really running out of shit to say for these intros, man.
When there's stuff on your mind and it's feeling unclear, just hop on the mic and speak without fear. Let's air out.
Well, what's going on, ladies and folks? Happy Monday, August 8th. No, August 8th of the month. August 22nd, 2022, 8/22/22. Episode 50? 50 or 49? I don't know. I can't keep track anymore. It's one of those two. Welcome back to another episode of Air and Air Out. Actually on a Monday this time. Not delayed anymore due to an acid trip. We are right back on schedule of doing it hours before we release it at like 6 to 8 p.m. on Monday. So yeah, good to be back right back where we started from, right back where we belong. It's this like starting the podcast is the hardest part because it's like I have to get into what I want to talk about, and I'm not 100% sure on what I want to talk about, so it's tough. It's real tough. It is kind of like a big week actually. This week on Thursday is actually my 1 year of no drinking. 1 year of not, being a sober dude. Not like, I've talked about like I still smoke weed on the nicotine, and we do acid a few times a year. So it's not like a complete abstinence from drugs, but I just, I realized last year that drinking was it's played its role in my life, and that role has come to its end, and I gave it up on August 25th, 2021, and here we are creeping up onto August 25th, 2022. So came and went faster than I thought, honestly. It's like I remember the first few weeks to like first few months there was like more cravings of like, okay, I've taken time off. I'm good now. I can have a couple drinks and be fine with it. But last time I quit drinking for 6 months at the end of 2020, and then by May 24, so it was like November to May 2020 to 2021, I stopped drinking again. I guess it was the first time I stopped drinking for 6 months, and then like May 24 rolled around. I was like, you know what? It's a long weekend. Kind of wanted to sit on the back deck, have a beer. I can control it. And like I did for a few weeks. It was just like a couple beers here and there, have like a 6-pack over the weekend, nothing excessive. But this snowball once it started rolling, it just started gaining more momentum until we were getting back to just like, you're just drinking and blacking out every weekend. And then it started creeping into weekdays, and that's when I decided to pull the plug on it and call it. It's I think a lot of people like expect is like one big moment, like a really, you hit rock bottom, you have this really embarrassing awful moment, and then you decide that that's enough for alcohol. That's all I need. I'm getting rid of it now. But honestly, I had those moments. I think like my lowest, like most shameful point was at Sarah's house with our cousins. I hope I didn't talk about this in the alcohol episode 2, but that was honestly so long ago. Like, how are you guys gonna remember that? Up at Sarah's cottage, and all her cousins were visiting, and I'd bought like, I don't know, 12 beers or something, like a lot of tall boys, which honestly 12 tall boys for like a weekend at a cottage is not that much, but this was really for like one night of drinking. I went up on Saturday and we were leaving Sunday. So I had a ton of beers. I remember like when I was loading the fridge, I'd put like 4 in, and then Sarah's brother's like, all right, nice. And he's like closing the fridge. I'm like, oh no, I got 8 more. I'm sticking in here. I was like, oh, okay. So I stuck all those in there, and I was still at this like stage. I was really nervous to like meet her cousins and like wanted to make a good impression. So I was like, well, yeah, if I drink, I'll loosen up. I'm way funnier when I'm drinking. I'm like way more witty. I'm quicker on my feet. I'll talk to people more. Like, it'll be good. Just get a nice buzz going, and then we'll just hang out with the cousins. I'll make a great impression. And then I just like drank myself sloppy. I was just like crushing my beers, going back into the house to go to the bathroom, and like drinking a beer while I'm in there, and then coming back out with another beer. And then whenever people were like, "Oh man, I've had enough to drink," and I'm done with this. I'm like, "Well, I'll finish your drink. Yeah, I'll finish that glass of wine. Yeah, I'll take it right here. That bottle of wine, that quarter of a bottle of wine left. Yeah, don't recork it. I'll slack right down the hatch, thinking that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like a fun party guy. It's what everyone wants to see, like the fun guy at the party that just like keeps it going. And it wasn't really that fun. It was sad, and like honestly, I don't remember a ton because like the booze was just flowing so fast. The blackouts, it came right up on me. And I think I have this. I feel like there's I've read of studies where like some people black out easier than others, and I swear I black out like so easily. Like I can put down a ton of booze. I remember I used to have a challenge for myself, full bottle no blackout, for like getting through a 2-6, without and like remembering it the entire time. And I think I completed it once. And I remember texting people like, did it, full bottle no blackout. Look at me, drank a whole 2-6 in 3 hours, and still remember everything. And then I found like a video on my phone the next morning talking about the full bottle no blackout, and I'm like, I have no memory of recording this video, so obviously I blacked out. So what was I saying? I remember at some point at that weekend with Sarah's cousins, I remember I told people that I'll drink anything with a percent on it. Anything that has a percent on it, I'm good to drink it. And that's really, it's just like booze and milk and like, I guess, sour cream and yeah, like just dairy products and alcohol. And I was like, it got a laugh, but it's also like, man, this guy's really dependent on alcohol. So yeah, that night got really sloppy, and I guess I had woken up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and just like got out of bed, just took my pants off and started peeing on the bed. And then Sarah woke up like screaming at me, and then I was like sitting on the floor like crying and like very upset and like talking about getting bullied in elementary school, which I didn't even really get bullied, honestly. Yeah, and that was like the next morning was tough because I was just full of shame and regret. And I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to make eye contact with anybody because I'm like, man, everyone knows what happened. Everyone knows I can't, I got a drinking problem. Everyone's like so embarrassed for me, and like I don't think that's actually true. It's just like all the the regret and shame in my head. Just saying that to me. And Sarah was very pissed. Like after everyone left, she's like, "What the fuck was that? Like I've never seen you like that. I don't know if I want to see that kind of person again." And you'd think after that, like I remember driving home and like we were kind of like on rocky ground, and like I'm not sure if like we're together anymore or anything, and listening to that Bonnie Tyler song, "Total Eclipse of the Heart." Turn around, every now and then I get a little bit lonely when I know you're not around, and I need you more tonight, and I need you more than ever. I remember listening to that, and like we took separate cars, and then like just driving behind her, following her back to Barrie, just like tears coming down my face. Yeah, so that was a low moment, crying to Bonnie Tyler, thinking that I just got dumped for over drinking and pissing in the bed. It's not even like I just didn't get out of bed and pissed. I actively got out of bed and peed on the bed. And I think I've said before, like I've woken up other mornings at home where like I open my drawer and like everything's wet in here, and this third drawer down that just there's no water on the top dresser that I would have knocked down into this drawer. And this drawer, it just happens to be at dick height. So like I must have woken up, opened the drawer up, pissed in my drawer, closed it, went back to bed. So like when that stuff starts happening, that's that's kind of a sign that you need to make a change. And I remember I had tons of like, I had voice memos and notes on my phone that I'd wake up and see of like my drunk self be like, this is enough. You have to stop. This is not how you want to live your life. And I just like ignored them. It was like, oh, it's just a drunk guy being silly. It's obviously I don't have a problem because I'm only drinking on weekends. It's not affecting my life. Even though it was greatly affecting my life and like my personality and my relationships. And, my overall happiness was all just going down the gutter, just in a deep depression, and felt like alcohol was like the only thing that was gonna pull me out of it. And yeah, on August 24th, I guess I got into some booze. This was like I think it was a Wednesday night, because yeah, my last day of work was August 25th with RJ Burnside. Yeah, so drank a lot Wednesday night. I just had a conversation in our group chat, just like about how excited I was to like, start a new chapter in my life. And I was like, it was like a super uplifting and positive message. And Reed was like, man, that's great. You sound like you got a great head on your shoulders. You know where you're going. And then I just like, I woke up at 6 a.m. for work and was just reading those, and just like immediately came clean. I was like, I don't know what overcame me, but it was just this sense that like, I'd had enough. I was just like, hey, yeah, I don't have my life together. I'm an alcoholic. Don't remember any of these messages last night. I'm done drinking. And then yeah, I had to like send a text to like a bunch of people that like I had to come clean. I don't know. I felt like that. I don't know. Isn't that like, is that step one, is like acceptance? I feel like that's. I never went to AA, even though you think at AA Ron would have gone to AA, kind of would work perfectly with the name, but no, never seeked counseling or anything like that. I did read this book called This Naked Mind, um, that really opened my eyes to drinking and stuff like that, and how you don't need it to be social, and how you're not more fun. You're actually like a much worse version of yourself. You're just getting dumber. And when you think you're funnier, it's really just like everyone else is usually drunk too if you're drinking. So like they're just laughing at more and more stuff. You're not really being creative or funny. Like I feel like I'm way being at parties now and stuff and hanging out with people, I'm like way quicker on my feet and saying like better things and making better connections with people without ever having a drink in me for like the entire night than I was ever just like pounding drinks back in the day. Yeah, This Naked Mind. So I was I mean if you're curious about it, if you feel like your drinking might get out of hand, uh great book to read. Honestly, it kind of I feel like the messages could apply to like a lot of things though, not just drinking. So yeah, great book. Would recommend it. Um, yeah. So I remember that day at work, that August 25th. Miserable. It was like 40 degrees out, and we were installing. We're installing piezometers, which there's like a steel tube. You screw them together. Then there's a screen at the bottom that's it's like pointed, and it's like a mesh, like a steel mesh, that goes in the bottom, and it's like a very shallow well. So you install them into wetlands and stuff. And the way to install them is we had like just a post bounder, so a big hollow steel tube that you just like smash down on top of it to punch it into the ground. And it was super hot out. I was very hungover. And like I think I was working with the new guy, Dennis, who I was training to like take over for me. And we did one like halfway, and I'm like, I can't do it. I'm exhausted. It's too hot out here. We're not gonna do it. And this was like the last task I had to get done for work, and I could not function because I was just so miserably hungover, and it was so hot out, and I was dehydrated, and I was just in rough shape, and like my head was not in the workspace. I was like I had all these messages coming in from people, kind of like rooting for me and being like, hey man, proud of you for like recognizing it. We're here for you. We support you, which is super sweet. Like everyone responded super positively, and even now, like when I tell people I don't drink, like I think like a lot of people are worried, that like they're gonna get judged, or like people are gonna like pressure them at parties to drink. And honestly, I've never had that come up. Everyone's always been when I say I don't drink, people are like completely fine with it. Like, oh yeah, good for you, cool, whatever. I think if people do pressure you, if your friends are like pressuring you to like, come on, just one drink, what's the harm? Probably not a good friend, honestly. Probably not someone who's looking out for the best of you. Maybe it's someone who's uncomfortable with their own drinking, doesn't want to admit it, so they don't want to drink alone. I don't know, but yeah, I had a great support system to help me through this, and I guess yeah, here's to 1 year. Here's to 1 year of sobriety, and I feel great, both mentally and physically. I feel like I'm in the best mental shape and the best physical shape. I've said that before on the podcast, I know, that I've ever have been. So yeah, it was a great decision. I don't really get the cravings anymore to drink, especially like hanging out with people who drink. You see like it's fun for a while, but then they reach a state of drunkenness where you're like that. From an outsider's perspective, it doesn't look that fun anymore. Like you're just getting louder and louder and being less coherent. And it's like, I don't really miss that. And it's like, if that's what I looked like, I mean, in my head when I was drunk doing that, I thought I was having a blast. But now seeing it from the other side, it doesn't look that fun. And I feel like I'm not missing out. And then also like the nights, and then I guess all the mornings I'd wake up with like just regret and shame. I've been used those two words a lot. I need a thesaurus or something. But yeah, waking up with like a lot of regret and like remembering bits and pieces of what you did. And I remember so many mornings of not wanting to look at my phone because like I know I texted people, I know I called people. I don't want to know what I said. I don't want to know what I got up to last night. Just being like afraid of my phone, just keeping it face down away from me, and just like pulling the blinds shut and sleeping and staying in bed all day, just feeling sorry for myself, and then eating a bunch of junk food to try and cope. And yeah, glad those days are long behind me, and here's to many more years, hopefully. Yeah, that's kind of like the first thing I wanted to get out on this podcast. Happy 1 year to me. I don't know what I'm gonna do I don't even know if I'm gonna do anything to celebrate on Thursday. Like, you have a drink, just we made it 1 year. We're probably fine. No, we're not. I don't even know what I would I don't even know if I were going to drink again. Like, I don't know, because I do have thoughts that like, how could I control it? I know I just said I don't have cravings anymore, so it's kind of going against what I just said 2 minutes ago. But like, I've thought like, would the solution be like just don't have anything in the house? So like you can only drink when you're out, or like if you're on a vacation and you're in a different place, not at home. Is that like you're allowed to give yourself time then? And it's just honestly, my problem isn't that like the repeated days of the week of like drinking all the time. My problem was that once I start, I don't stop. So choosing like one day a month wouldn't really like fix the problem. And also like after one day of drinking, it just the craving comes back much harder the next day. And it's like each subsequent day of not drinking, it gets easier. But to go back all the way back to like day zero, it's gonna be real tough to like fight those cravings off again. Yeah, I remember like being at home. I would just drink and play like Fortnite, and like have a bottle of Kraken next to me and like six tall boys, and just be pounding them. And like you get better at video games like 2 beers in, and then you just get worse and worse, and then you also get angrier. You're like raging at the people you're fighting against and just like trash talking them, saying their mean messages, trying to make them feel bad, even though you're the one that feels bad. And I remember like when I finished all my booze, I'd just go like scrounging through the house, like, just furiously looking for more alcohol to keep the buzz going. And yeah, just like compulsively trying to find more alcohol to drink. And that's when I like drank all my parents' alcohol, and I would like drink my mom's wine down to a certain level, and then if I ever like finish the wine, I have to get up early the next day to go to the LCBO to replace it, and then just all kinds of anxiety, like am I gonna get caught? Are they gonna know? That's yeah. So glad all that's gone and all, done behind me. That feels good. That feels good. So thanks to everyone who kind of supported me through this first year, and everyone who's like been super chill about me not drinking. It's been a pleasure. Uh Honestly, the like the shame of after telling everyone that I'm alcoholic and I'm not drinking, like the idea of just telling people, oh yeah, I just had a couple drinks last night, no problem. That's like the fear that like people are gonna talk about me about that stuff, and how like, oh man, Aaron's back on the wagon. That like kept me from drinking too. So like just the social stigma of it, of that like I'd be going back on my word and like not treating myself with respect. That helped a lot too. So yeah, if you're struggling with alcohol or any kind of addiction, honestly, reach out to your friends, reach out to people you love. They want to take care of you. They want to see the best for you, and they're not gonna like shame you for it. They're gonna want to take care of you and like get you to your best self, because obviously they're friends with you because they see something great in you, and they just want to keep that like great spark going. So that is my motivation for the start of this podcast. Hopefully you are doing well, not struggling like I was. Hopefully this podcast has maybe helped you, sort some things out, hearing me talk about my, the shit I go through and trying to put like a positive spin on it. Hopefully it's helped you guys with, any similar issues, or if you just enjoy me, rambling about my life, that's cool too. We're getting on to soon. We're gonna have 1 year of this podcast coming out, and that's gonna be I think I'll do an episode with Ethan as a nice like throwback episode. And we got something in the works too that should drop that week. And also I just got the SD cards here for Martin for the sketch we shot last weekend, so I can finally like get these on my computer and start working through that footage. And I think a good release date for that too is honestly going to be like the 1 year of the podcast starting. So like first week of September, just after Labor Day, I would say right now is the tentative release date. I know like that other sketch I was filming with Ethan, I said so many times, I'm gonna get this. Oh, it's gonna be 2 weeks. Maybe 2 weeks. I'm gonna get it up. Just a couple weeks, and I just never progressed past the like little teasers I put out on Facebook. So hopefully this is different. I actually have all the things shot this time because of the wonderful help of the Losers on Drugs. Ethan and Martin were like super supportive and like really pushed me to like, use my own creative decisions to like create this thing. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to having something to edit. I've got like some ideas of how I want to kind of edit it, and I don't want to overdo it though, but I think it's gonna be a lot of fun just to, like test things out, then show Ethan and Martin, and then like get their notes on it, then like make little tweaks, and then yeah, I'm excited to get this one out and have you guys see it, and then if it's a good response, it'll probably just fuel us to make more stuff. I think the plan right now is to film film one video this weekend, and then film 2 more next weekend. Kind of get like 4 videos done for August, and then yeah, from there we are. Hopefully there's like every weekend we're getting something filmed, like alternating between Losers on Drugs and Aaron the Brock stuff. I think that would be ideal for me because I don't want to feel like I'm just taking all their time to film stuff for me. And then also vice versa. I feel like I wouldn't say anything if we are just only filming Losers on Drug stuff, but I would feel like I want to film some stuff for my channel too, and having them help is very helpful. No, believe it or not. But speaking on the Facebook page I just mentioned, I was looking back at it yesterday or Friday. I was watching my weekly recaps that I did. I think they're on my Instagram too, Aaron the Brock, on both Facebook and Instagram. Honestly though, like I stopped doing them, but like they're not that bad. I thought I was gonna watch them and like cringe, and I'm like, that's actually pretty good. I did a pretty good job of like the having two versions of me and like getting my lines synced up. Like I filmed them in maybe like an hour, 2 hours, and just had the script written out and just kind of did one person's part and then played it quietly on my computer and had the other person like act out their lines in between the other lines, just kind of like sync it up properly. And there's just like a few takes that took me a while to do because I was just flubbing through lines. And I didn't take too long to write it, honestly, actually. But like I'm pretty pleased. I don't think the writing's not great, but like I think like putting it together, like I just watched the last one I did where like we're both bored and don't know what to do. And like that, like it works out pretty well. It looks like I'm sitting beside myself. I'm happy with the final product. And from there, watching those weekly recaps, I then went back and was watching some weekly wanders. A very old series. I don't know if any of you new viewers have ever watched any of that YouTube stuff. But yeah, I watched like the first weekly wander at the quarry, and then I watched what did I watch after that? I watched the Barry weekly wanders, those two ones. I think I watched one more, and my Grand River, making a friend at Grand River. And like again, not great. Like a lot of work that could be done, but like I feel like it's a watchable video. Like I feel like you know, the audio quality and like the video quality is good enough, and like there's enough editing in it to like kind of like it smoothly progresses. Those early weekly wanders were done on like this very rudimentary editing software. Yeah, I was like happy. I was worried I was gonna look back and be like, oh man, these are shit videos. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah. Yeah. Quote of the, let me make a shirt that says, yeah. Very happy with them. Very happy. Couldn't be more pleased. Like I could be. Like I said, there's a lot of work that could have been done to it, but yeah. I also watched a couple proton paints because I am actually I don't think it's a profited artist, but I have sold a painting. It's not even on camera up here. This the Squirtle on a war turtle on a turtle. Sorry, I called it Squirtle because that's what Liam called it. But Liam, it is not a Squirtle. It's a war turtle. He had his last day last Friday. A bunch of people had their last days at work. Like it was a thinned out crowd today. And he's like, hey, are you still selling paintings? I'm like, of course. And he wanted to buy the war turtle one, which, Liam, if you haven't watched the video on YouTube, the Lion, the Witch, and the ... question mark video, the proton paints video, there is a blank sign in the war turtle, just beside him, that I left blank intentionally and put it up for the YouTube comments to be like, hey guys, you know, say what I should paint on this thing and I'll paint it and I'll add it to the painting, and then you get to like be a part of my art. And I think Reed and Sauna like suggested two things, and I just left it because I'm like, I wanted to kind of like get more comments and get more ideas going rather than just like two people commented, let's take one of those. But now that Liam, you're the owner of it, obviously it's still on my wall because you still owe me $5 more, and I gotta see you again to get it to you. But you get to now choose what goes on that sign. So whatever you want, you'll have to watch the painting video on YouTube to see how big. It's not a big sign, so there's not a lot of room. But you know, if you want to throw BD Randall up there or something, just let me know. I'll probably text you about this too. But I guess I'll say it on the podcast because I sold art. I have officially sold art. So now that you guys know that they're a hot commodity, so be sure to get your requests in before I take them all down and burn them with all my Bibles I'm burning too when I leave here. So yeah, get on it real fast. There was like a bit of, you know, sadness when he asked me, are you still selling paintings? There was a moment of like, oh man, I'm like giving away a part of me. This is, you know, I don't know how comfortable I feel like giving this away. But then I'm like, you know what? I like them when they're on this wall. Like I like walking into my room and seeing them on the wall. But I'm leaving this room in 4 months or so now. Like probably less. Probably gonna leave here like early December to go back home. And yeah, I don't want them to just like sit in a box at home. What use is that for me? So I'd rather, he's going to Guelph. I'd be nice to like have him put this up on the wall. And he's got a great story. He can be like, hey man, my coworker Aaron painted this. He's got a podcast. He said I do cocaine and snort sand. It's all one big happy story. So yeah, I think it's nice that it's going to a good home. Liam's gonna take care of it. He also wrote me consent on his last day. They can see on the other side of the wall. If you want to see another painting too, I hadn't painted in a while, and I wanted to paint something to get back into the painting. So I decided to paint this Westmount logo that you're now seeing on the screen. And on the background, it's just a white background right now. My initial thought was to like paint them in like alternating light and dark colors of green to make it look like a green, to represent the cutting that we do. But instead, I was like, it would be really fun to just have everyone sign it. And since last week a bunch of people were leaving, I wanted to get this done beforehand, so I had less people to chase around. But yeah, it turned out well. I've got this really nice memento of all the people I worked with. The issue I had was I was just walking up to people in the morning, being like, hey, can you sign this, or can you write your name on this? And depending on the vocabulary I used, if I said, can you sign this, people would sign it in cursive. And if I said, can you write your name on this, they would just write their name in like writing, just printed. Is that what the like official term of not cursive is? Just printed. So now I have this mixture of like signed names and written names. And I'll be honest, there's some signatures on here that I just have no idea who it is. And like, I'm sure through process of elimination, I could figure it out. But yeah, there's a lot of names on here that I cannot identify whatsoever. There's like, let's be real. What is that? Who signed that? I have no idea what that name is. It's like an L A, and it's not Lyle, because Lyle, there's his name right there. We even got Jeff to sign this. I was going to everybody. So that was actually, this is really nice. This is gonna be one of the few ones that I keep, because this is like a really nice memento to remember my time at Westmount. I still have like 3 people at work currently that they left early, or they weren't there last week, so I gotta get them to sign it. And then Michael and James, I gotta track you boys down probably after a football game or something. And then Marin, I don't know how I'm gonna track down Marin to get her to sign this, because she's across the country. But yeah, if I can get those last, like, really it's just gonna be like 3 names. Really it's just gonna be 1 name. That's a struggle. That's just gonna be Marin. It's gonna be a struggle to get. But other than that, pretty much got everybody. So it's nice I got this done before everyone left. Happy with how it turned out. Everyone else is kind of like happy with how it turned out too. They're very excited, and everyone's like, "Who's this for? Who's this for? Is this like a going away card?" I'm like, "No, it's just for me. It's my own gift." So a little present to myself. But it was enjoyable to paint, and honestly, I gotta paint more. Especially when we start taking things off the wall. I gotta like start rebuilding up the paintings, and I need to be less picky about what I want to paint. I think that's the key. I really want to be like just paint things from my memory and like my own creative perspective. But that's a lot harder to do than just like seeing something cool I like, and I'm really good, I feel like, at looking at an image and then just painting it. I don't know what it's still freehand, but it's like I'm copying from something else. But I think there's a talent in that to like know how long to make things. I'm not like drawing a grid out and like measuring things. I'm just completely eyeballing it and looking at it, and like I'm pretty good at like nailing the scale and stuff. Like look at it, like Goofy over there, it turned out really well. The Trash Man, I love how the Trash Man turned out. That one, I kind of want to take the Trash Man with me. But like E.T. in this one, I like how E.T. turned out. Grogu could use work. SpongeBob, the SpongeBob and Patrick, someone's got to take SpongeBob and Patrick. Honestly, that's Reed. You commented on the Weekly Wander in Barry that the SpongeBob and Patrick painting is next level. I think that's what you said. So feels like you kind of gotta like take this one off my hands for me. Yeah. So back into painting. Started reading again too. I finished that Norm Macdonald book. Funny book. Really enjoyed it. And I've now moved on to the 3rd book in the 3 Body Problem trilogy. It's a science fiction book. Really cool. It's like I think it's written in China, and then it was translated, and now it's like going to be a Netflix series, which I'm worried about, because it's by the guys that did Game of Thrones, and they kind of torched the end of Game of Thrones. I'm like worried that the books were so good and that they're just gonna blow it again. So I'm hesitant, but you know, at least I enjoyed the books and the story so far, and I'm excited to finish this final book in the trilogy. It's a long one. It's like 1,200 pages, but we got 100 pages in yesterday, so it's not too bad. I'm a pretty quick reader. Not gonna hit the 50 books this year. I feel like I've broken records, because I feel like I've already said all this stuff on the podcast before. But yeah, see if we can get like 40 books, maybe get 20 books done again by the... Sorry, I'm full of hiccups. I ate some pepperoni before I hopped on here. But yeah, I've been enjoying reading, enjoyed painting, and been playing more guitar. Last night I was just bumming around and learned a very basic version of Bad Bad Leroy Brown by Jim Croce. That was fun. It was nice that Ethan like popped over. He's like, oh hey, playing Bad Bad Leroy Brown, and like that's a huge compliment if the people can identify the song you're playing through the wall. And then I was working on a Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. Boom, da, boom, dun, 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 dun. And then of course we've still got Blackbird, and working on Hallelujah too. I think I found the key to keep me interested in guitar is I just gotta like steer into my musical ADD, because I just like, if I pick a song, I'll play it for a bit, and then once I get the basics down to it, I don't have that like extra gear to then keep practicing it over and over again every single day till I nail it. And then I just like stop playing guitar because I get bored of that song. And what I need to do is just like, when I get bored, just find a new song and just like keep working on something. And then you can always, once you get enough songs, then those like first songs you played on like become old news, and you can go back to them. Kind of like when you get like a music playlist and you listen to a song constantly for like 3 weeks, and then you get sick of it and then you put it away. But then, you know, you think of that song a few months later and you're like, wow, what a banger that was. And you go back and it's just like as enjoyable as before. I think that's like the process I have to do, is just get like just like keep learning new songs. Because I mean, really the goal is to just play guitar. The goal is not to learn songs. The goal is just to get better at playing guitar. And I think playing a variety of songs and like a variety of chord progressions and like finger picking techniques, I think just doing that daily is what the real key is, and not just doing it so I can impress people with all the songs I can play, you know. And I think in the long run it's gonna help me out. Just get my fingers more ductile, get them more get more dexterity going, whatever the word is for that. But yeah, I hate that I've noticed that I keep saying that now. What else we got going on? I did learn some facts. You guys want a fun fact section? I wrote these down a while ago. I didn't write them down on a post-it note like I did last week, so I also left my window open, so I hope that lawnmower or weed whacker, line trimmer, whatever it is not getting picked up. But you want to hear some facts? Podcast topics. Geez, where are the facts? They wrote 2 about vomiting. When you vomit, I think everyone knows like the pre-vomit sensation where like you start getting a bunch of saliva, and then you just start. I mean, my personal experience is that like I don't feel like I'm gonna vomit in my stomach. It first starts in like my mouth. You get a bunch of saliva going, and then you're swallowing it back. So like, okay, I'm gonna vomit. If I keep swallowing and putting stuff down, the vomit can't come back up. So you're just sitting on the couch, head spinning, just swallowing, and you're like looking at the bathroom, because I'm like, I know if I go into the bathroom, I'm going to vomit. There's like 100% chance as soon as I get my eyes on that toilet, I'm gonna puke. However, if I just stay on this couch and keep swallowing, there is a chance that I can get through this without vomiting. There's also still like a pretty good chance that I just vomit on myself. However, I'm gonna roll the dice and believe in myself that I can swallow this vomit away. And so that like saliva created in your mouth is actually your body produces saliva when you're gonna vomit to protect your teeth from the acid in the vomit. Did you know that? Bet you didn't. So that's a little fun fact I learned on Reddit. And then from there in the comment section, I actually read that when people vomit, maybe I should stop saying vomit, instead of saying puke, a tactical uke. That was a great phrase that Will came up, and I'm still use it to this day. When you uke, and like if you vomit or puke from seeing someone else puke, that's like an evolutionary trait, because I guess like apes, they would often share food from the same source, and if one ape starts vomiting, there's a chance that it's like related to the food. So all the other monkeys seeing fucking Jim puking his guts out, they start vomiting because just to make sure they're getting rid of any tainted food so they don't get sick or poisoned either. So if you vomit when people vomit, you are just you're evolved. Don't feel bad about it. You are. I don't, honestly, because I'm just a gross person, and I spent a lot of nights, you know, with someone hunched over, vomiting on a tree or on a rock, and just patting their back like, there, it'll be okay. You're doing well. I think I feel like if someone vomited on me, that would be grosser. But like, I feel like it'd only be really bad if like I feel like if they vomited on my hands, you know, hands or face. But like if they vomited on my shirt or like my legs or my feet, I don't think I would puke. But just like my hands, because then my brain is a bastard, and if I get on my hands, I immediately have thoughts of like sucking it off my fingers and like slurping it up and eating their vomit. And I don't know why my brain goes there, just to try and gross me out. But then the thought of eating someone else's vomit grosses me out more than just the fact that they puked on me. So that's why I vomit. Another fact I learned, not about vomit, is that at fairs and carnivals, they used to give away cigars at like the party games, you know, where now you can win goldfish and overpriced stuffed animals. You used to win cigars. So the term close but no cigar comes from those old carnivals, because like, you know, you almost won but you didn't get the cigar. So there's another fun fact for you guys. What else? Ethan taught me something. There's this black cat that always wanders around at night in our backyard. So if we're out like hitting the community bowl and just like chilling, listening to music, hanging out, this cat will come, you know, come for some scratches, come hang out, see what's going on. He's a good lad. He's a good time. But Ethan was telling me that cats meowing is a development for like only around humans. Cats don't meow in the wild. It's just like their peace. I guess they don't really have to make peaceful or like friendly noises out in the, you know, when they're hunting and stuff like that. So they're just like apex predators made for killing. So there's like they don't meow. Like that's if a cat does that, it's a cat that's been around people. So there's a few fun facts for you guys that you can share at parties and stuff like that. Could be a good time. What else have I got going on? Golfing. I haven't mentioned golfing in a while. So I talked about the last time I talked about golfing was when I shot a 67 when I was playing with Marin, Tyson, and Claire. That was maybe like a month ago, or longer than a month ago, like 6 weeks ago or something. And then the next time I played after that was just with the human golden retriever, Robbie Coffee. He was like the first guy that I worked with at Westmount that was close to my age. Will had come before Robbie, but Will, since he was so experienced, he was like off doing machines by himself and doing other shit. So Robbie was like the first guy they paired up with me and had me like kind of show him the ropes, teach him how to rake leaves and pick up sticks, which was like all I did for the winter, besides making benches and stuff. But yeah, I went golfing with Robbie, just him and I, one Sunday like 3 weeks ago, and I had to be out of there by 8. So we were just gonna play 9 holes. We started at like 6, so it was a very tight window, especially playing with Robbie. Because if you want to play fast, I'm sorry, Robbie, you're just not the guy. Because he's just distracted. Every time he sees a forested area, he's like, "You want to look for golf balls? Should we go look for golf balls?" He's a dog. Like he's just constantly hounding to find more golf balls. I think he said he wants to sell them. Like he wants to sell the Pro V1s he finds. But I think he just gets a thrill out of like finding golf balls, because he takes anything and he just gets super excited at the golf balls he finds. Like at the end of the shift, he'll like show you his golf balls, so proud of him, like an oyster showing you his clams. That doesn't make any sense. An otter showing you his clams. I've used that joke before, but not in reference to Robbie finding golf balls. Yeah, so I was like, I have a tight window, we gotta just play and hope we don't lose 20 balls. And I was playing kind of shitty on the first 3 holes, and then I started to pick it up and get better through holes like 4 to 7. And then on hole 8, it's 10 to 8. And I'm like, I'm just going to be late to my call. It was just like a video call with all my friends from Barrie. And I'm like, okay, we just got to kind of like rush here. And like, you know, I'm just not going to think about my swing. And just hole 8 is a par 4. And I got a par on it. I drove it to maybe 50 yards from the green. And then chip on, 2 putt. Nice par. And then hole 9 is actually right after hole 8. I realized I had lost my wedge on hole 7, so like I had to leave Robbie at hole 8. He was looking for more golf balls. He was perfectly content, and I had to like rip back to the 7th hole green, pick it up because there's no one behind us. We were the last group out there. And then got to hole 9, another par 4, like a 400 yards or something. Hit a great drive, then hit it right after my drive. Hit a great 5-iron onto the green, like 30 feet, and then just missed the 2-putt and took a bogey with a 3-putt. But like those were like the best 2 holes I'd ever played at Westmount, and like that was the last golf I'd played before we played on Sunday. And on Sunday, like not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, the day before the acid trip, I was playing with Robbie, Liam, and Aliana Calhoun, getting the Calhouns out there. And I was just a weapon out there. Like, I was hitting the golf ball better than I've ever hit it before. Like, my irons were going the distance they should have gone. I was still slicing my drives, but, like, not as aggressively. So I was, like, hitting pretty good drives off the tee. My chipping and putting was just dialed in, and I ended up, so I shot a 53 with that when it was just Robbie and I. And then playing the back 9, we started on the back 9 with the Calhouns and Robbie. Shot a 50. I'm like, wow, that's the best I've ever shot. I wanted to break 50 on 9 holes as my goal. So like I didn't quite break my goal, but I was like, man, 50, that's really good. And then we move on to the front 9, and I'm still like dialed in, hitting great shots, and I shoot a 48. So not only did I break 50, I also broke 100 for the first time in my life, which is like my goal of the summer, was to break 100. So that's absolutely like, I was ecstatic when I added it up. I like added it up in my head first. I'm like, okay, 98. But before I like sent the picture to the group chat to like, you know, rein in my victory, I like added up on a calculator too, just to be sure, and it was 98 still. So that was super exciting. I was very fired up when I got back home. Couldn't wait to tell people. Ethan, Will, Chris, and I kind of have had these like golf matches going on all summer. It's Ethan and Will versus Chris and I. Chris and I are team Russia China. Because on Steam we play a lot of games. Steam is like a online video game store, and you know, like you have friends lists and you buy games, you message each other. Like that's how it's like all contained, and like that's how you play a lot of video games on PC. And years ago, Will and I are playing a lot of Rocket League 2s, and we decided to change our names. On Steam you can just change your name whenever you want. So I think I named myself Dale, he named himself Brennan, and we had like the pictures from Step Brothers of Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. And then since we played with Ethan and Chris a bunch at the same time, Chris called himself Robert and Ethan called himself Nancy, the parents. So that was like our foursome, like on all matching names and all matching pictures. So when we all play together, it's kind of fun. You know, they're all matching. And then after that, they wanted to Lion King. So Ethan was Pumbaa. Chris was Scar, but he was like XX Scar XX. Will was Rafiki, and I was Timon, which I didn't know Timon was spelled without an E. It's just Timon. So for a while they were just calling me Timon. And then after that, we then moved on to Ethan had changed his name to Kimmy, for like Kim Jong Un, with a picture of, you know, Kimmy's big fat Korean face. Then I saw that and immediately went to Pootie, Vladimir Putin. And then Chris went with Winnie, which is it's a great joke. He was Xi Jinping, because he always gets called Winnie the Pooh. So he went with Winnie. And then Will went with Roddy for Dennis Rodman. So that's our current, for like the past, I think it's been like 2 years or something. We've had these names now. Whenever we play Rocket League, we're it's like the One Korea, Best Korea is like our team name. So that's been our names. That's where Team Russia China comes from. Me, Pootie, and Winnie. And like with this whole war in Ukraine thing, is kind of like making me look bad, because Putin's getting like, he's not doing great out there, and I feel like he loses this war, I'm gonna look like a fool playing Rocket League of this like losing dictator. So I mean, you know, you hope that he can kind of pull it together and like, you know, pull it a win. But God, for my own ego, I hope something happens to that. It'd be so embarrassing to have like the loser of World War III, you know, as my profile pic and as my character. But yeah, so that's where the team name Team Russia China comes from. And then Ethan and Will are Team Ethan's Willie, and we've been trying to beat them. I think we've played 2 or 3 rounds, and we've lost each one, because Will is like the real juggernaut to try and beat. Will can just hit a shot from anywhere. We play alternate shot, so like you just all take turns hitting the ball, and wherever the ball lands, your partner has to hit it from there. So I mean, I was pretty garbage when we started, so I really couldn't do much for Chris. I could usually like chip and like help out putting, but like I couldn't hit good drives. Like it wasn't good in the fairways. I wasn't good like on those approach shots, the second shots. But now that I've broken 100, I was feeling really good on my swinging. There's a chance like for Team Russia China that I think we could topple the juggernaut that is Ethan's Willie, the massive juggernaut Ethan's Willie. Um, so now that Chris is actually back, Chris got back Saturday, moved back from California to here, and he's got his golf simulator set up in his garage. So we're definitely gonna get some golf sessions in there. Maybe bring the TrackMan to the range too. Get more details on the shots. And Chris gave me like some good advice earlier in the summer. I think I finally like become comfortable with the swing tips he gave me. So I'm looking forward to like getting some more advanced tips and like continue to progress. My thing right now is like I'm hitting them well, but I'm not really good at aiming and knowing where to aim. So like I can hit a 5-iron, 185, but it's not necessarily going in the direction I want it to go. Even if it's going straight, I'm usually going like straight to the left side of the green or straight to the right side of the green or straight over the green. So getting those things dialed in, it's a lot of fun though. Like playing golf when you're like actually have some control over your shots and you're not just zigzagging across the fairway, finding your balls, or just driving 10 yards up to hit the same shot and you're just dribbling it down the fairway. Yeah, it's a lot more fun when you can actually do it close to what the par is for the hole. So I'm loving golf right now. I think we're playing 9 at Mary Hill on Thursday, which should be a good time. See if it was just a fluke or see if I actually have figured something out in my golf game. That'll be a big tester. Yeah, and having Chris back, he was talking to me, he's got some boxing equipment and Muay Thai pads. So we're gonna learn some combat, do some training at his house, which is gonna be a lot of fun. I've always wanted to take up some kind of martial arts. I'm not I've said fight or flight. I'm flight 100% of the time. I'm just running away. I have no confidence in my ability to fight. I don't know how to throw a punch. I don't know how to defend myself. I don't really know how to do anything. So it would be nice, we've been bulking up in the backyard, doing some lifting. And now if I can just turn this body and all this lifting power into like an aggressive power and just become like a tank, just become a man-made weapon, I think that'd be really cool. Just be feared, because I'm not really not a very intimidating guy. I'm not very scary. Don't yell, don't lose my temper. So, having something to back it up if anyone ever gets in my face, because I always have fantasies. I don't know if you have fantasies of like getting in a fight and like taking on 3 guys at once, or like, defending a girl's honor, or like someone breaks into your house and you just like suplex them down the stairs and some shit. I have dreams like that. I think that'd be super cool. So maybe I can turn that into a reality, and it'll be nice to have like a training partner with Chris, which I guess will be pretty short lived because I'm out of here in a few months. But yeah, it'll be really fun to go hang out with him again. Play around in the simulator and play around hitting some bags. And then he also picked up so we were playing this game Zombicide, which is like a tabletop game, kind of like a very basic D&D, I explained. And Chris sent a picture that he's like picked up some more games. I think it's a Warcraft, but not like World of Warcraft. What is that other, like the RTS version, not World of Warcraft. I think it might just be called Warcraft, but it's like a story-based one, which I'm looking forward to, having like a consistent character going through all the levels rather than we just like start fresh for every map in Zombicide. It's not like a recurring game. So that's gonna be a lot of fun doing that on Sundays. Then you got this other game that's like purely combat based that I don't remember the name of, but yeah, a lot of stuff to do. Having another guy to hang out with is very cool because Ethan's a busy guy. He's got a lot of gigs and music going on, and then with Blues on drug stuff, and nice to be able to get out of the house and do other things. Which I actually just saw one of Ethan's gigs. This weekend was kind of like a weekend of all my plans getting canceled. That was it. Friday night, nothing really got canceled. I was just going to Ethan's gig at Churchill Arms. He's performing with Tyler Fry and the Mile Highs, which I've seen them 3 times now, and they've been great every single time. Like the audience was far too small for what they deserve to have. There's like, tonight or Friday night, there was like maybe 10 to 12 people to start, and then by the end of the night, there was like 6 people, which is great for me. Like I enjoy, because I just got to like I had a straight shot looking at them on the stage, and like it was just very nice. Not even a stage, just like the empty part of the front of the bar. But like it would be cool to also be like in a big crowd and be like, I know those guys. I know those guys. I'm gonna go talk to them between their sets, you know, and then I can feel like a big shot and ride on their coattails. Or the guy that invited Michael to see if he wanted to come out after football practice, which it was a late night for him, so like I don't blame him for not being able to make it out. But then yes, Saturday, I think I was gonna go watch UFC at Michael's house. But those plans fell through. He had stuff going on with his football team. And I was like, I was gonna see if Will wanted to game, and then he couldn't game. And then just like pretty much everything I'd planned to do on the weekend just didn't happen. And it's more on me because I didn't really pivot into doing anything else. I just like kind of did nothing and like lounged around. I did read a good amount and play some guitar, but like for the most part, I was just doing nothing and just like laying in bed on my phone, just feeling sorry for myself. Like, oh, well, I can't do anything because no one wants to do anything with me. I'm just such a loser with no friends. But you know, I kind of turned around on that and was like, hey, this is your fault. You have plenty of things to do. You don't always need other people to entertain you. You gotta get better at just like entertaining yourself and doing things that you enjoy doing, and not just relying on someone else to, you know, have fun with you. So yeah, this weekend was a bit of a wash, but I'm over it. Moved on, you know? You're not going to pout and mope for the rest of my life. You just got to pick yourself back up and get back out there. Yeah, so that was about it. You can actually, Tyler Fry and the Mile Highs, they are on SoundCloud. They have a song called Quiet Little Place that I really enjoy. An original. And they've been recording for an album. So I think they've got all like the first versions of the song done, I guess the demos, and now they gotta kind of like whittle it down and then perfect the songs they want to put out. So I'm looking forward to when that album drops. I'll definitely be plugging it on here to the like 15 of you. I don't know what's going on with the podcast, honestly. I don't know if it's like an anchor thing that's not tracking views coming in from Apple or something, but like the views have just dropped significantly just out of nowhere. We went from getting like 30 listens an episode to now like barely squeaking 15, which makes me feel like it's a tracking issue and not that just half the audience just gave up at the exact same time. I don't know what let me see, what was the last episode that got 30 views? I also don't really like talking about the podcast stats on the podcast, but I'm gonna do it anyways because I need content. Like, yeah, end of chapter, episode 45, 30 plays, and then Dick Talk, Currency Exchange Service, and the Acid Trip episode, all like 15 plays, 16 plays, 14 plays. Like, it just immediately. So I don't know what happened. Every episode before that has like 30 plays. One of them has 40 plays. Like, it was doing well, and then just back down to no one really listening anymore. Which, I mean, hopefully it's not that the content's gotten worse, because I feel like I've actually gotten better at doing this. And I'm actually excited to go back for the 1 year anniversary and listen to episode 1. I think that's going to be like a bonus episode, so I might do 2 episodes that week of me just listening back to episode 1 and kind of chiming in what I think, you know, what's changed. I feel like these things have gotten better. I definitely feel like I've gotten better at just talking fluently and like having things come more naturally out on the podcast. So yeah, I'm hoping it's just like a technological issue and not so much a people dislike me issue. But either way, hey, just got to keep plugging away at this thing. I feel like podcasts take like 3 years or something to really take off, especially if you don't market them whatsoever. I keep saying I'm gonna do that, and I really have to. I just don't know how, honestly. Like, I guess I just make posts online and then like just make a presence known out there. But yeah, who knows? I don't really know what else I want to talk about. And I'll just check the podcast notes real quick. I can maybe throw in a musical interlude or something if it's gonna take me a while. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think so. Oh, Drake has hot sauce in his condoms. That's the weird thing I heard. I was listening to a podcast. They're talking about how like Drake, I guess after he has relations with a woman, he has to put hot sauce in the condoms to stop them from like wringing it out into their vagina to get pregnant. Like, that's just, imagine that level of fame that people just want your kids to have to pay child support for it, just trying to force you into a marriage. That's I mean, it's got to be like a real confidence booster in the first place, but also it's got to be real annoying. He's probably just going through a lot of hot sauces. Like, his fridge is just full of hot sauce. And like, do you use the good hot sauces, or do you use like, is he just using sriracha, or is he, you know, using like El Yucateco or something? I'm curious to see. But that's like the line of defense you have to have. And I wonder how many people like notice right away there's hot sauce in it, or how many people, because I don't know, is hot sauce like, is it like a spermicide? Does it kill the sperm, or is it like just it burns them up inside, and then they like have to wash it out and then they don't get pregnant? I don't know. You might have noticed on this podcast, my knowledge of female anatomy, not great. Not even male anatomy, honestly. I know where my penis is. What's going on inside, I don't know. I don't know how much like pee is stored in the balls, and you pee. I was reading something interesting about pee. Like pee is actually, it's not stored in the balls. FYI, it's it like comes from, I don't know, your liver or your kidney or something. Like that's what cleans your pee, and it doesn't stay in your, I thought it was in the bladder though. Now I'm second guessing. I wish I had researched this more often, but pee does something interesting in your body. That's the fact for you. That's all I got. Ethan peed on a child at a school while drunk one day, or it was a tree. Either, it doesn't really matter. One of those things, and you got a ticket for it. Yeah. Also, while drinking, that's the reason why you don't drink. 'Cause you might pee on a child or a ficus, whatever it was. You know, it's not, details aren't that important here in this story. Other than that, man, I don't really know. I think that's good. I'm content with this episode. It's a fast hour. That's always a good sign when it flies by. So thanks for listening, guys. Thank you for the support for 1 year sobriety. Appreciate it. Love all of you. You know, there's less of you at work now to tell me how good my podcast is, so that's gonna kind of kill my confidence. But if you guys are still listening after leaving Westmount, nice. Looking forward to having you guys keep in touch with me. You know, always feel free to reach out and talk to the old Brock Show if you got something on your mind or you just want to catch up. You know, I'm always around. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Aaron out. Hey, you did a great job listening to this podcast, and I really think you're going to do a great job again next week. So be sure to tune in to Aaron Air Out every Monday on Spotify, Google, and Apple. Also, find me on YouTube at Aaron the Brock. Take it easy, folks.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Now take what you learned and have a great day. Damn, it feels good to air out.